All right, Poshfest 2019 is officially over. My husband and I both attended. We live in the Phoenix area, so it wasn't too much of a trip for us. However, we stayed downtown so we could be in the hub of it all, and it was so much fun, so exhausting. We came home and it felt like we had to sleep for like days to recover. But we're finally getting back in the swing of things, and before too much time lapsed between Poshfest and making this video, I wanted to make sure that I got to recap my speaking session with you guys because I was one of Poshmark's speakers this year. So the way that it works is that most content that they deliver at Poshfest is by way of a panel style. And so I was on a panel with two other women, two other people from the community, as well as we were moderated by Maria, who is the woman in charge of leading Poshmark Canada. She actually wrote the business plan for that, and so it made her the perfect candidate to moderate our panel. And our panel was all about beyond business basics, which was kind of intimidating to me to get started. I feel like for me, I am kind of an expert in the day-to-day things like sourcing and flipping and finding the right things and getting it sold and taking the pictures. However, it wasn't until kind of earlier this year when my husband and I jumped into reselling full-time together that we really had to look at our business as a business, not just a side hobby, not just something that was bringing in a little bit of extra money each month. And for that reason, it was an honor to be able to speak about these different things that are less than glamorous. But my hope was that people took away some really great insight to just move forward. I really wanted to make sure that what I was sharing was actionable, that it was something that people felt empowered by and not necessarily afraid of. And so I'm just going to share with you each of the separate sections within the panel. Now, we did this panel 3 times in a row, 30-minute long. So an hour and a half we were speaking, and that's where I originally lost my voice that I'm finally getting back. And so now that I've done it 3 times, I'm gonna do it the 4th, and hopefully it stuck with me and I'll remember most of it. So yeah, let's start with the first section, which was making a business plan, making a business model or a business canvas, whatever you wanna call it. It's something that I called out as not being crucial to actually making money on the app. On Poshmark. However, it was something that I felt necessary, and obviously all of us on stage felt necessary as you begin to take your business more seriously. So business models or business plans, for those who are unfamiliar with it, is basically a complete layout of your business. Not just what are the things you're doing day to day, but also who your target customer is, who are your competitors, how are you staying ahead of the game, what are your financial forecastings, and things like that. There's quite a few things that go under it. However, something we noted was that it can be as lightweight or as in-depth as you need it to be in order to successfully organize and forecast your business, basically. And so for this section, something I really wanted people to take away was that there are free resources if you get stuck in this section or any section we talked on in order to get you moving forward. So I told everybody, I said, grab a pencil, write this down on your phone, whatever you need to do. But the Small Business Administration, also known as the SBA, is a government-funded arm of the United States that offers free resources, free mentorship, free support to small business owners and entrepreneurs, which is you and me. This is something we're paying taxes already to we're paying our taxes into it, so take advantage of it. They have a website, and on that website you can have access to all of these free resources, including a template for a business plan. So if you don't know where to get started with building a business plan out for your business, that is a really great option for you. It's also a really great option if you get stuck on any part of building your business out. If you ever feel lost, if you ever feel like you don't understand what something is, check back in with the SBA, and they actually have an arm of the SBA called SCORE, and you can get a free mentor and business expert mentor face-to-face looking at your business, helping you build your business. We have one. He has been invaluable to us. So SBA, and then SCORE is the arm of SBA that offers the free mentorship. So check into that if you feel like a little bit lost on the business plan making. Another thing to note is when you're building out a business plan, just kind of knowing what you're using it for. Are you using it for yourself to get yourself organized? Are you using it to get funding for your business? Are you using it to make sure that you know how you're going to grow every month? These are things that you just need to think through yourself. And a business plan will highlight what you know, what you have access to, what your resources are, as well as what you may not know. So for example, something I brought up was, do you know your target customer? Do you know Poshmark's target customer? Do you know the brands that you're selling's target customers? These are things that are really important for you to know if you're going to kind of grow your business and you start building it out. The better you get at understanding that your business landscape, your competitors, how you're going to stand above everybody else, the better you're going to be at what it is that you're doing. So that was the first section, was all about building a business plan. Is it necessary to make money? No. But a big part of the theme of our panel, and Aileen, who's one of the women on the panel with me, she put it really nicely. She said, we shouldn't be employees of our business, we should be the CEO of our business. And sometimes that means getting dirty and doing the uncomfortable and spending a little money, spending a little time to get it right. And it means maybe not just doing the day-to-day things, but also everything else that comes with owning a business. So the second part of our panel was all about a business structure. And so if you don't know what a business structure, it's basically when you register your business, which if you're making money, you have a business that needs to be registered. There are two main ways to register your business, and this is also called a business structure. This is basically how you tell the government, hey, here I am, this is what I'm doing, and here's my access to my financials and things like that. So the first way that you can register your business is the easiest, the cheapest, typically, depending on, always check with your city and counties, but it is called a sole proprietorship. And this is the majority of resellers. The majority of resellers are doing this alone, on their own. You are the sole owner, the sole proprietor of your business. This allows you to file your taxes during tax season with your personal finances or with your personal taxes, which makes it really easy to get moving on that front. If you're not sure how to register your business as a sole proprietorship, again, you can always go to the SBA or to SCORE, and they will help navigate you in the right direction. Anytime you get lost, I recommend going to them. You can also easily Google it and just Google your city or your county as well as sole proprietorship to get started. The second way, there's two main ways resellers register their business. The second way is the way that Kevin and I have it, and it is called an LLC, which is a limited liability corporation. And an LLC is great for a couple things. The first is that it's necessary if there's more than one person working on the business. So my husband and I both own this business, so we are both part of this business, and so we registered ourselves as an LLC. It's a little bit more expensive, it's a little bit more time consuming to register, but something that Jessica, who's on the panel with me, said if she could do one thing when she started out, it would be to register her business as an LLC to begin with. It does offer the most protection, and it does offer you some other benefits. And so we were talking a little bit on the panel about protections, how you may not realize if you are a reseller that there are ways that it can backfire on you, and you do not want people coming for your house or for your cars or for your personal property. And so setting up an LLC protects you against anything that could happen. A couple examples that were given is, Jessica was saying she packages her items with a plastic baggie, and God forbid something were to happen, but what if a small child got a hold of that baggie and something bad happened? These are things that if you're a sole proprietor, you're not protected, your home is not protected, and things like that, as well as I gave the funny story of at least in one of the panels, how I bought something from a reseller, and when I was trying to take the snap off with my teeth because it wasn't coming off, I chipped my tooth. And I didn't obviously do anything about it, but I am not the type to do things about it. But some people are. So that could have impacted somebody adversely. And then finally, I had been talking to my friend Mogi about this, and she had said, well, yeah, as soon as you start hiring employees as well, that's something to consider. employees can hold grudges, and employees can come after you as well. So for those reasons, we recommended the LLC approach. It's a little bit more time consuming, a little bit more expensive. However, our CPA helped us set ours up during our free consultation with them. And so it's something that I would definitely talk to somebody about just to see if that's what's right for you. But either way, get your business registered. That was a big takeaway. Just move. If that's a sole proprietorship, great. If it's an LLC, great. Just do it. And then the third, kind of leading into the third thing, was all about taxes and tax season. This is something that I think intimidates a lot of resellers. Most resellers come into this industry kind of guns blazing. You started selling out of your closet, and now look at you, you're suddenly making money and you're making a profit. You found something at a thrift store that you knew would be worth more than $1. So that was my story. And suddenly I'm like, oh, well, I'm running a business now and the government doesn't know and I got to do something about this, right? And so the taxes was like kind of the scariest first step. So if you are not an accountant and you have no idea what to do, my number one tip is to go find a CPA. You can find it through a friend, you can Google it, you can go on Yelp. Find a CPA. Most of them offer free consultations. So get a meeting on the books with them. Ask them all of your questions, kind of interview them the way you would an employee. Make sure that you like them, that they're answering your questions the way that you need them to, and ask them what you need in order to get your business set up and running. And then once you have a CPA, they are likely going to tell you that you need to set up a way to track your expenses and your income, usually through QuickBooks or something like that. Kevin and I use QuickBooks, love it. You can import all of your bank information and just pick and choose which transactions belong to which categories. And then you can invite your accountant to your QuickBooks and they can do your taxes for you without you having to actually meet them at all. So that is a really, really important tip. If you guys are feeling overwhelmed, if you don't know what you're doing, go find a CPA, ask them how much they cost. Usually it's a few $100, but I can tell you firsthand that our CPA saved us way more money than we paid him, and it was amazing. So that was part 3, and then part 4 was just about kind of forecasting and kind of the part that I wanted to add to it. The other women were talking kind of about sell-through rates and making sure that you can kind of know how many listings you need to have active in order to be able to forecast what that next month is going to look like. But something that I really wanted to bring to the table during this panel was that as you begin to grow your business, you'll likely find that your static expenses start to grow. So the things that are not necessarily cost of goods, you start to grow those. So for example, Kevin and I now have to pay for a warehouse space, and Kevin and I now have to pay for business insurance for our property, because how much we have in inventory is a lot more than what our homeowner's insurance would cover. So make sure you've checked that out too. So you're gonna start finding that kind of your expenses are starting to meet your cost of goods. And so making sure that as you do this forecasting analysis that you're accounting for those things and not just your cost of goods. So for example, when we look at a stack of beautiful packages, we can no longer say this is the profit on the stack of packages, because it's no longer just about the cost of goods anymore. You also have to think about things like, anything from gas to printers to printer ink to, anything that you could possibly think of that has to do with your business is part of your expenses. And so having your QuickBooks set up is a really great way to make sure that you're keeping that organized. And so kind of the final thoughts of it, Maria asked us to all go around and say, if you were to kind of give yourself advice for when you first started, what would it be? I kind of wanted to do kind of a step-by-step. Here's what, if you haven't done this, do this. The first was getting a separate bank account for all of your work-related expenses. So if you're going the sole proprietorship route, which most sellers do, many sellers do, Just having a separate bank account at your personal bank that you already use, you could set that up online in like 5 minutes. And now you have a separate bank account. Do not mix and match them unless you're paying yourself. And yeah, that's basically, you want to make sure you do that first. So the next part that I really wanted people to take away is make sure you've registered your business, which we just talked about. Make sure you get yourself a CPA and make sure that you have QuickBooks or some way to track everything that you're spending and everything that's coming in. And I just really wanted people to take away this idea that you are empowered to be a business owner. You are capable of being a business owner. You are a business owner. And so instead of burying your head in the sand, kind of take a deep breath and dive into it and go own your business. So those are the main things that I talked about. Obviously, the women on the panel had different perspectives, different things that they brought in, but I just wanted to make sure that I shared with you guys kind of my thought process as I went through this panel and what I really wanted people to take away. I had such a great time and we had good feedback on it. Again, check with the CPA. Always check with the CPA. Again, you can meet with them for free typically. Give them a call, say, hey, do you do free consultations? A lot of them do. And again, SCORE is a really great resource as well. You can get free business mentorship with a professional. Who doesn't want that? It's awesome. So you guys, please, if you liked this, like it. Subscribe to our channel. We're building up our YouTube and we're really excited to offer just more content, more information on reselling on Poshmark, on other platforms, as well as kind of the more challenging stuff like today of it's not all fun and games. Sometimes you have to really work at it. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.